So, I've been thinking a lot about fifth grade lately. Fifth grade. You remember fifth grade? No? You don't remember fifth grade? Well, this is going to be great then. Because I remember fifth grade like it was yesterday, and it was like such a great time of my life. So in our school, I went to school in Jupiter Elementary School. And fifth grade was the senior year of elementary school. So we dominated. We ruled fifth graders, right? It was so great. And what I remember most about that, though, what I remember most about being in fifth grade is that we played a lot of games and we had a lot of contests. You know, games like kickball, Red Rover, red light, green light. You know those games? Man, do you really know those games? Yeah, okay. They were fun. And I was good at those games, and they were an important part of our school, right? Elementary school was very hierarchical, and how we did in those games really defined where we stood in the whole thing. It was important. And in addition to those games, we had a lot of races, just running races. We seemed to have a running race every day, some type. And I was the fastest boy in my fifth grade class. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so proud of that still. It was great. There was one other, I got to admit, there was one other kid, and he was, every now and again, he'd edge me out. But all in all, I was the fastest. I was the champ. Man, that felt so good. But more than the good feeling, more than that, as the fastest boy in my fifth grade class, I knew who I was in the order of things. I knew it. And so did everybody else. And I knew what I had to do to keep it that way. Now, have I mentioned how great that was? It was great. Now that's a fifth grade boy, or my fifth grade mind's version of Eden. You know, the Garden of Eden? That was it. You remember that garden, right? So for me, I want you to think about the garden symbolically. Because for me, the garden is a symbolic place or a symbolic internal condition where we experience harmony and peace and security and stability. In the short form, all is right with the world when we're in Eden. So all was right with me in my fifth grade world because I knew who I was. I liked who I was. People liked and respected me. And I knew once again what I had to do to keep it that way. It was a very safe and secure place. Well, one fine day in fifth grade, I found out that we were going to have our class was going to have a race against the other fifth grade class. So there were two classes. I was the fastest in my class. So I went over and checked out the competition. I watched all the boys run, and I was like, I got this. I am going to kill. So I felt pretty good. The day of the race came, and it was the 50-yard dash. That was perfect, 50-yard dash. 50-yard dash, and I was just ready for it. So we all lined up. On your mark. Get set, go. And so we took off. And I just took off. I shot out of there. And I was ahead of everybody. And I looked around just to make sure that the guy who was kind of my competition was still behind me. And as soon as I looked around, somebody just blew right past me. And I was so surprised. And I ran as hard as I could and ran. And I just couldn't catch the person. So I came in second. I lost to a girl. That's not funny. I lost to a girl. A girl. I mean, how can this be? My 5th grade mind was blown. This is not supposed to happen. I was always taught that boys are faster than girls, which, as we all know, means boys are better than girls. So how in the world could I have lost to a girl? Everybody knows that girls are sugar and spice and everything nice, but she wasn't. How could she beat me? This makes no sense. All is not right with the world anymore. This is a 5th grade boy's version of what we just heard in today's reading. That's what it is. See, today, if you caught it, they're on the way out of Eden. They don't get to stay there anymore. The actual scene we see today is after Adam and Eve have eaten the fruit. Now, you guys, you've heard about the fruit, right? Everybody's heard about the fruit? Yeah, the fruit. That fruit. Well, I always thought that fruit got a bad rap. Because, well, just hear me out. The majority of the Christian world has a name for eating the fruit. And what's the name? Sin, yeah, but there's another name. The fall. The fall. And the fall, the logic of the fall basically is we had it perfect, but messed it up by eating the fruit. And God's been scrambling around ever since, trying to figure it out, trying to make it right. Right? Is that basically it? Well, that's one version of it. There's always been another part of Christianity that saw eating the fruit differently. Did you know that? There wasn't just one way to see it. Now, this other way of seeing the whole thing about the Garden of Eden and eating the fruit, this whole other way says perhaps it is a sin to eat the fruit. Perhaps that's true. But it's a necessary sin, or even a happy sin. Because, you ready? Because it opens our eyes to the world. It wakes us up. It wakes us up and helps us to become aware of life. You see, the fruit, like the garden, is a symbol. Now, for some people, it's a symbol of temptation that messes up the perfect life. But for others, it's a symbol for waking up into life. And where the two come together, where they both come together, is they say when we eat the fruit, and this is a symbol, when we eat the fruit, our eyes are open and we discover new things about the world. Our eyes are opened and we discover new things about ourselves. Our eyes are open and we discover new things about others. And that can be hard, discovering new things. Because the bottom line is eating the fruit can be about knowing things that we didn't know before. Knowing things that we didn't know before. Well, in 5th grade, I got tossed out of Eden. I got tossed out of the garden, right? Because now I had new information. I had new information about the world, I had new information about myself, and I had new information about people within the world. So what was I going to do with all this? I was perfectly fine before. I didn't want this new information. I don't want that. Everything was good. It was all in its right place. What am I going to do with this now? What was I to do with this? Well, I know what I could do. I could blame. Adam and Eve did that, right? You heard that? You heard the blame? It's perfectly human to blame, and to blame others, especially when we're confused and we're upset and our whole world is on the verge of changing. Blame is a perfectly human thing to do. So I would have been completely justified if I said, the girl, it's her fault. She's a freak. She's an anomaly. I know what she is, and you know what she is too. She's a tomboy. She's not even a real girl. See, I could do that, but it doesn't work, does it? Blaming really never works, not for long. So, I can't go back to the way I thought before. Boys are better than girls. I can't do that. And I can't blame anyone for my situation. So what do I do? You see, this is the story of the Garden of Eden. The story of the Garden of Eden and eating the fruit is a story that plays out just about every single day, and it might be playing out in your life right now. It's a story about human beings. It's a story about being human. It's a story about how humans evolve and change and grow, because there's nothing worse than a static life. It's a story that invites us to ask ourselves, what do we do when we're made aware of something new? What do we do when we're made aware of something that might not fit with our current worldview? Something that might change the way we see everything. What do we do? You want to know what I did in 5th grade? I mean, I could stop. You got to want to know. Do you want to know? Okay, all right, then I'll tell you. So in 5th grade, and this is through a tremendous amount of struggle and wrestling with this, I had to come to terms with, boys aren't better than girls. That's not true. Girls aren't just sugar and spice and everything nice. That's not true. So more importantly than just knowing that, what I learned was there's all kind of girls. And there's all kind of boys for that matter. And I can't lump them into one big fat category and go about living my life. Because we're all unique. Each of us. You know what? I'm so glad I ate the fruit. Amen.